Welcome to another edition of Psoto Desperado plays Ark Survival Ascended. I'm over here on the Supreme Gaming Island map. That's Supreme Gaming, one word. I had just shown a video on homelessness. Now this one's also a guy who's homeless. I did listen to this one before. Why I quit my job and became homeless. Now this is the logic and reason of somebody that we would consider like a nomad, or not a bum, but a what do they call them? Those guys that used to smoke pot all the time. I forgot what they were. The 70s people, you know. He's going to go over his logic and reason as to why he quit his job, became homeless. But I bet this guy doesn't have any pets. I bet he doesn't have 6 cats that look at him like, if they don't eat, they look at you like, "Daddy, will you feed us now, please?" You know, that sort of thing. Yeah. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started with him. His name is Freedom Foraging.
Hi. If you don't know me, I'm Colby and I'm homeless. And a lot of people don't understand why. Now, it's not homes necessarily that I gave up on, because I do appreciate the security of having a home a lot. But that's not what I was giving up on. What I was giving up on is selling my soul to these soul-crushing industries that just don't care about you, particularly working in restaurants. Not a fan. I'm sure anybody who's worked in a restaurant understands that they typically do not really care about you. Probably most jobs in that case. I mean, really a lot of the jobs that I've had have been like that. Even non-restaurant jobs. But anyways, done selling my soul for jobs just to keep working and selling my soul. Or my time. To put it in a more logical way, I feel like I'm selling my time, my precious time, and I am. Who knows how much of it you have? Just don't waste it. But I mean, good on you if you feel like you're enjoying life still while making money and working. That's awesome. Not me. Not for any of the jobs I've done, anyways. I mean, selling solar was alright. I wasn't even really selling it, just helping people figure out what program worked best for them. Some of them weren't any cost. Anyways, that job was awesome. I can't do it anymore because I don't have a car. So, I don't want to work in restaurants, that's for sure. Except maybe a vegan restaurant. That'd be cool. But really, any of the restaurants near here, nah. So, instead of selling my soul, I'm out here dealing with bears. Because there's a price for everything.
Oh, baby.
And
no, can't do that right now.
Bears, lack of sleep, lots of walking. That's the cost for this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Not bad though.
On your
I
own.
certainly enjoy it. I'm on a hike. And it's 10 a.m. I would not normally do this. Yeah. Plastic, I know. That's what they have at the homeless shelter. But anyways, yeah, so that's why I'm out here. And I'm choosing to enjoy it. I mean, I don't have much control over whether I'm out here or not, especially at this point. So What I do have control over is how I react to it. And some days it's easier than others. Getting through it. It's tough work every single day. There's no day off. Even when there's no work. Yeah, that's the other thing. People think homeless people, and I'm guilty of this too in the past, but people think homeless people are just out chilling all the time, doing nothing but chilling, relaxing. That is not the case. That is not the case. Especially when you take on a more nomadic lifestyle like myself. But still, even if you don't, you gotta walk a long way for water. You gotta walk a long way for food. And then you gotta walk a long way back to wherever you're camping. Yeah. And I've met all sorts of homeless people at this point who take it different ways. Some handle it better than others. I think some just handle what life throws at them better than others. But a lot of that can come from childhood and how you're raised, and I know that from my childhood. Adaptability was key. So here I am, still adapting. But anyways, enough about me, I guess. If anybody has anything to say, please comment. And clicking the like button doesn't hurt either. But you don't have to do that. Honestly, why I'm doing this, I'm not exactly sure, but I know it's not 100% just for me. So, please let me know how you feel, and I'd love to start a discussion about it. Peace out. Oh, and if you're in CT, hit me up. Let's chill. I'm super lonely out here. Not many people are out here that want to just chill and talk. So, hit me up.
Yeah, they just get tired of it, especially this younger generation. They don't have any tolerance for the shit that most of us adults would have gone through without even asking, you know. Just don't have any tolerance at all. I don't even know how to express that properly, really. How do I say that, you know? What do I say about that? These people just giving up left and right, you know? Is that what I should say? You know? Oh, that's a very high level thing. Oh my God. Ooh. Sit over here for a second. Okay, so at this point, shitty Allosaurus sound. I'm going to go ahead and put out the regular bird. And then I'm going to transfer all this other stuff out of here. No, baby. No. What are you doing? Can't you climb the other direction? Oh my God. Let's see. Oh no, wait. I want to do this. Okay. Just want to make sure I keep the sweet cakes on me. Now that's a good one over there. The problem is I don't have a trap. So what I'm going to do is fly around and see if there's an open trap and use this bird to pick it up and put it in there. Now I don't think I have enough narcs to tame it, but it's so isolated. That pig is so isolated. 232. That's like 8 levels off of max. Let's see. Alright. I'm going to subscribe all. I've been subscribing more simply because it doesn't cost me anything and it helps these guys out a little bit. Alright. That was freedom foraging. Okay. Here we go. This is interesting. Yeah, this guy, it's a long video, but it's really interesting. When you listen to Joey the Gypsy, I forgot to subscribe to him. When you listen to this guy, I want you to think about his perspective. This guy's been living out there a long time. And he's a pretty good looking guy. He seems pretty presentable. You know what I mean? You know, he puts his ponytail behind him and he's just like a normal person. Nobody's going to say, hey, homeless guy. You know, nobody's going to say that to this guy. He blends in. And he's still going to give you the real perspective out there, which is fucking scary. Here you go.
So this video will be about why homeless people don't just go get a job. At the end, I'll explain why I didn't get a job. My reasons are pretty complicated, a lot more complicated than most. So yeah, first off, thanks for all the subs, the likes, the comments. I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for the tips, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for the Patreon. I've been neglecting the Patreon. Sorry about that. I got a lot of shit going on right now, man. Like, you know, my car ain't running, all that shit. So I'll get back to it. I guess I'll wear my hair down for this one. I was getting so many compliments on my hair yesterday. I'm a fucking... Maybe I shouldn't be doing them with my hair down. But Jesus Christ, it's so hot. I mean, I'm like... I'm sweating, bro. But... and yeah, before people start accusing me of being on drugs, dude, it's 80 degrees out. My car's parked in the sun. I'm getting barely any wind through here, so... Yeah, I'm hot, bro. So, now the reason homeless people don't just go get a job is pretty complicated, but, and it varies from person to person, but one of the main reasons is because when you're homeless, you pretty much have to make money every single day. You can't just, you can't just go, apply for, you can take a day off and go apply for a bunch of jobs, and then even if you get a job, you're not going to get paid for like 2 weeks. So like, what are they supposed to do for 2 weeks? Work for free? You know what I mean? That's one of the major hurdles right there. Another one is a lot of these people have just never ever done anything like that. They've never even attempted to get a job, because some of them have been on the street since they were so young that, they couldn't get a job at that point. And then by the time they're old enough to get a job, they're so adjusted to making money on the street that it's like, it's just completely foreign to them. You know what I mean? And it's, truthfully, a lot of jobs, in my opinion, are not even worth having. That's why they're all complaining like, oh, nobody's hiring. Dude, let me tell you something. If you were paying right, everyone would be trying to get a job there, Like, they're paying wages that nobody can live on and wondering why nobody wants to work for them. Like, it's simple math, you know what I'm saying? You can blame everyone else, but the truth is you're underpaying people, and that's why nobody wants to work for you. When we used to, when I was doing sod and I was getting paid a percentage of every job, we hired someone, like our boss basically talked us into it. And you know, every once in a while on a big job, we would bring people out, but we were paying people well. So whenever we needed people to work, we didn't have no problem finding nobody to work. And we're doing hard labor, throwing sod in the Florida sun. It's hot as fuck. You're getting filthy. You're getting covered in dirt and sweat and mud. And, like, we never had no problem getting nobody to work because we're paying good. So it's like, you know, these people who complain about nobody wants to work, dude, pay better. And trust me, you're going to find plenty of people to work, you know? It's ridiculous, dude. But so...
Titanosaur.
And, you know, a lot of homeless people are just... Some of them are kind of nuts. They're going to have a real hard time sitting in one place, taking a bunch of orders from someone who, you know, that they don't really respect. It's like, just because you hired someone, that doesn't mean you really earn their respect. And a lot of people on the street, they don't just give their respect out like it's nothing. Because, you know, out on the street, you know, not everyone deserves respect, you know what I'm saying? And they see these people, and they're thinking to themselves, this guy could never handle a fraction of the shit that I've handled, and I'm sitting here taking orders from him. He should be taking orders from me, you know? That's the kind of shit people think, because when you live in that life out in the wild, basically, you kind of resort back to your animalistic thinking, like, it's like survival of the fittest out there in a lot of ways, and you know, it can be a bit savage at times. So when these people end up in some job taking orders from someone who they feel like they should not be taking orders from, it's tough. And just a lot of people on the street, they've been betrayed by society in a lot of ways. Society, no one's ever taken care of these people. No one's ever done them right. You know what I mean? There's a lot of messed up people out there who have zero compassion. And when you spend your whole life dealing with those type of people, and I knew people on the street who never met anyone who was ever decent to them in any way, shape, or form. So, like, they've just kind of given up on even trying to be normal, because, you know, they have no trust. They have no reason to trust this society, because this society has done them wrong at every turn since as far back as they can remember, you know? I mean, some people just come from messed up homes where their parents abused the shit out of them. Their parents were completely out of their fucking minds. There's people out on the street who've been out there since they were like kids, you know? Because they would rather go take their chances out on the street than to live with these crazy people who are abusing them and hurting them, you know what I mean? So, I mean, think about that. These are kids going out on the street in New York City. They're choosing that over a warm bed and you know what I'm saying? So you can just imagine the type of shit they're dealing with. I knew people on the street who they were already messed up when they were kids from their parents. Then they get out on the street. If you're a kid out on the street, there's predators out there who are going to see you as a target. I wasn't a kid out on the street. I was an adult, but I looked young. And I can tell you one thing. There was people, dudes, you know, who, like, they'll try to hit on you or whatever. And when you're not into it, they'll get all upset and angry. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, imagine if I was a kid, how this guy would react. I'm a grown man, and this dude's You know what I mean? Like, I'm an actual threat to this guy. Imagine if he's dealing with a fucking kid who's not a threat. And I'm seeing these people, and I'm seeing these situations out there, and I'm thinking, how the hell do kids survive past a year out here with these kind of people out here? So, you know, these kids who end up out on the street, first of all, they're screwed up from their parents. Then they're dealing with all these abusive lunatics out on the street who they see homeless people as like a target. You know what I'm saying? It's like a safe target for them to unload on. And if it's a kid, it's like, what's the kid gonna do? You know what I mean? Like me, I can fight back, so I didn't have to deal with much. But I'd be thinking, this would occur to me on the street, like, how do these kids survive with these fucking people out here, you know? And those people aren't even homeless. Those are quote unquote normal people. And then you got the lunatic homeless people out there who, you know, they don't hesitate to use and abuse everyone around them. So it's like, you know, they were messed up by their parents. Of course, I got some shit going on right next to me every time I try to film a fucking video. So, you know, they were abused as they were kids in their home. Then they get out on the street. They're abused by the homeless people. They're abused by the normal people. They're, you know, they've been neglected and abused their whole lives. If they try to go to the shelter, they're basically putting themselves in jail voluntarily, and I can tell you one thing, the people who run these shelters, they're like the most compassionless people on earth, because a lot of the times they hire them, you know, right off these are people who like were staying in the shelter, and they like give them a job to work there, and it's like, so you can imagine there's some abusive, crazy people in there too. Because at one point I did kind of give up, and I was like, all right, fuck this, I'm going to the shelter, I'm getting a job, I'm going to be a normal person. I went to the shelter one night, and that was enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm going back out on the street, because I'm not going to give these fucked up people any type of power over me, you know what I mean? Because they can't handle it. These people couldn't, you know, I wouldn't put them in charge of taking care of a parakeet. Forget about, you know, all these mentally ill people on the street who end up in these shelters, like, and you know, a lot of these people, in my opinion, they weren't born mentally ill. They've just been so the world has been so fucking cruel to them and has done them so wrong, and yet maybe a lot of the times they reacted in a way that fucked their karma up even worse, because these people don't believe in nothing. You know, they don't have any faith or belief in anything, so they're thinking like, the way everyone else is acting, I'm gonna act like that too, and they're just basically digging themselves deeper into karmic debt, and like, you know, so they end up just creating such a hellscape of a life that it's like, you know what I mean? Like, there's really no escape for it, and you expect someone like that to just go, I mean, start taking orders at McDonald's. Like, these people probably can't stand still for more than fucking a half hour at a time, you know? I'm pausing this and coming back to it because I've got some, like, I sit, like, all day there's been nothing happening around me. I'm like, all right, let me film a video. And of course, right when I start filming it, I mean, let me fucking come back to it. Okay, so the annoying thing that was happening is not happening. There was some dude just talking on his phone right outside my window. Like, so, so yeah, these people, and you know, nothing applies to everyone, but so there was people out there who, everything's just been so hard and unfair in their life that they've turned into a bitter person who's, now they're acting like an asshole out on the street, and they're abusing people, and it's like, it's this circle of, you know, and they just, then there's, in order for them to start living like a normal person, there's such a long chain of events that they would have to go through that, you know, a lot of them really do need help, you know what I'm saying? And I mean real help. These shelter systems and all this stuff going on, I can't speak for every city, but I guarantee it's all the same. In New York City, these homeless programs and all this shit. It ain't about helping nobody. It's about washing money. It's about moving money from here to there. It's about people taking care of, you know, like Cuomo's sister was like running in charge of like the homeless thing. You know what I mean? And it's like she's getting paid like $500,000 probably a year to, you know what I'm saying? It's all bullshit, bro. It's not about helping anyone. It really isn't. If you saw the shelter system in New York City, there's obviously not much money going into it, but all the people, all the like executives who are working for these companies are being paid a ridiculous amounts of money. I'm talking millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and it's, you know, they're all making themselves rich, and it ain't about helping anyone. So 9 times out of 10, you're way better off out on the street than in the shelter, unless you've got some sort of steady job and you can just put up with the shelter for a couple of months. But a lot of these people ain't got it like that. You know what I mean? Especially to be paying New York City rent. And yeah, they'll every once in a while they'll take someone out of the shelter and put them in some room somewhere, but 9 times out of 10 they kind of just shove all the homeless people into the Bronx. They buy these buildings in the Bronx and just fill it up with homeless people, and it's basically just, you know, it's a new form of hell for them to live in. You know. But so yeah, one of the main reasons a lot of these people don't just go get a job is because they just don't give a fuck anymore. They don't care. They have no interest in taking part in this society. They're filled with rage. They're filled with hate. And they got every right to be. Some of them are so fucked up that they can barely even, like, I mean, there's people out on the street who don't even, they haven't attempted to even clean themselves in sometimes decades. You can get on the train sometimes, and this has happened to me. I'll see an empty car. I'm like, oh shit, there's an empty car. I've learned to be a little more careful now. You get on the empty train and you look over and there's someone laying on the bench. Actually, you smell them before you see them. And then you're trapped in this car until the next stop. And I shit you not, these people smell like you've never smelled anything like it. Just imagine if someone stopped showering 10 years ago and then on top of that has been pissing their pants. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even kidding you. It's like the smell is almost enough to like make your eyes tear. Like there's like a gas coming off of these people. I'm not kidding you. And it's like, you know, you think they were born that way? Like, dude, we live in a really screwed up society, bro. And, you know, people can say like, you know, it's not society's fault. I've got a job and this and that. You got to realize you didn't come up in anywhere near the circumstances that a lot of these people came up in. I mean, imagine if your parents have been like raping you since you were a fucking child. You know what I'm saying? These kind of people end up out on the street. What are you gonna, like? You know what I'm saying? You expect someone like that, and then they get out on the street and they're dealing with all this other shit. You expect someone like that to just be able to just function normally and trust people? I mean, they never had a chance. You know what I mean? So, and I'd see people out on the street, and to me, I'm seeing their whole past, but a lot of people don't see that. They just see some like, oh, this guy's crazy, he's a shit, this and that. But I'm seeing these people and I'm thinking to myself, bro, you think he just chooses to be that way? You think like he wants to not shower for 8 months at a time and to be walking around with clothes that are disintegrating off his body? Like, you really think this guy fucking chose to be that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I guess in the long run, everything is kind of a choice, but you got to realize that things have been happening to these people from such a young age that they, you know what I'm saying? They weren't thinking much, and by the time now they're an adult, man, this shifter's right in the fucking way, and they can kind of think more. It's like they're just too fucked up at this point, you know. Trying to think of some other reasons, and the other reason, it's like, what are they gonna do? What, like, they're gonna walk into, hey, can you hiring? This is where these are people that they're filthy. They, you know what I mean? And you know, people do judge by appearance, you know? Like, maybe they shouldn't, but they do. And the other thing is, I've thought to myself, like, yeah, if I ever end up trying to, like, buy a huge piece of land and build, like, a commune or whatever, I'd hire a lot of these homeless people, and I'd be thinking to myself, right off the bat, having them work for me is going to be hard, because a lot of them, they're not going to be very, like, receptive to it, you know? So whatever, like, these people need compassion. They, you know, if you're running a fucking profit-driven thing that you're expecting these people to be just, you know, right on point and doing everything right, it ain't gonna work like that, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to have a lot of patience and a lot of compassion and try to help evolve them past all the shit they've been through. So it's like, you know, most companies can't even handle hiring people like this. So yeah, I guess that about covers it for other people. Now, the reason I didn't get a job is you can watch Why I Was Homeless part 1 through 7, but basically what it comes down to is every time I would get a job, I just felt deep in my heart that God was trying to get me out of there. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it, but you at some point you got to realize you're on the wrong path, and that's what happened to me. And when all is said and done, I wasn't meant to be doing that type of shit, because, you know what I'm saying? It just that's the way it went. If you think that I ever had a problem holding a job, you're wrong. You can ask anyone I ever fucking worked for. They'd be happy to hire me back right now, you know? So, I mean, it just, for me, every time I'd go get a job, things would be happening to where that weren't really in my control, that were directing me out of that job, you know? Do you think I really just wanted to quit that? I had an easy job at Belmont at the horse track. It was an easy job. It was the easiest job I ever had. We literally would take a half-hour break every hour. I liked everyone I worked with. I hung out with it was like hanging out with friends. We had a bunch of funny people working with us. We'd be smoking weed all day. Like, we'd be playing, we called it leaf truck hockey, where it's a long story, but we'd be having fun. We'd be making fun of each other, smoking weed, wrestling, fucking playing leaf truck hockey, fucking. It was a fun, easy job, and I liked it. But I also felt that, you know, it for me to do that, I kind of felt like I was taking the easy path, I was taking the soft path, I was taking the path that wasn't going to lead to my best self. You know, that's the best way I can explain it. And if you think that was easy to quit that fucking job, you are mistaken, because it was the best job I ever had in my life. And if I was still working there now, I'd be getting paid thousands of dollars a week, and I wouldn't have to do shit, because I'd be like, you know, it's a union job. I'd be high up, like, you know, I'd be high up on the food chain by now, and I'd be probably just chilling somewhere in Belmont and getting paid a shitload of money to do very little. You know what I mean? But that's just not, it's not, God didn't put me on earth to do that. I don't know how else to explain it. Man, fucking shit. I'll be back. Yeah, so basically, in a nutshell, the reason I stopped trying to do the whole normal life thing was because I felt that God had a different purpose for me that was going to be harder and more challenging, that if I had the balls, I would accept it, and I did. I answer to God. I don't answer to people. I don't answer to what's comfortable. I don't answer to, you know what I mean? I answer to God, bro. So, if you got a problem with what I've done, to take it up with God. That's, you know, so, you know. And then the last job I had, my buddy got me a job on Wall Street, where I'm trying to get people a loan, get people to take a loan over the phone. It was going fine at first, and then our boss was like, he was just giving us such shit leads that there was no way for me to really make money. And I was just like, this is it, bro. I don't, you know, I'm going to sit here and work for, it was like a commission-based job. I've got no chance to really get sales, because He's giving us these beat up ass leads from 6 months ago that we've called 5,000 times, and it's useless, it's pointless. So that was that. And the last straw with that one, I managed to stumble into a $500,000 loan this guy wanted, which my commission would have been $10K, and
Nice.
the loan ended up not going through. Like 4 or 5 times it went back and forth, like, okay, we're doing the loan. 2 days later, okay, we're not doing it. So, hey, Joey, yeah, you're gonna make 10 grand. 2 days later, oh no, you're not gonna make 10 grand. 3 days later, oh, yo, it's gonna go through. You're gonna get 10 grand. 2 hours later, oh, it didn't go through. The fucking lender doesn't want to do it. So it was a wrap. I was like, this is it. God's telling me to get the fuck out of here, and that was that. And if you think I didn't want to keep that job, you're wrong again, because when it was going good, it was going good. But I was also back on heroin, and you know what I mean? Not having that job kind of forced me to get off heroin. Watch my Why I Was Homeless videos if you want the full story, but it just wasn't meant to be that way, and I go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess that about covers that. Now, this video ended up being 3 parts, so what a pain in the ass. I'm gonna have to try to stitch this all together and shit. There was another point I wanted to make that I can't seem to think of it now. Oh, so my advice is, if you're kind of fresh on the street, go whatever, make money with whatever way you can. If you're trying to go back to a normal life, get to the closest city, get yourself a bicycle, and start doing Uber Eats, DoorDash, and all that shit. Do them all at once if you really want to make money. And just take the good deliveries. I'll give y'all some tips on Uber. Maybe I should make a video about that, because I did Uber for about a year, Uber Eats. And there's a very specific way to do it if you want to make money, which it took me about a year to figure it out. But if you do it any other way, it's not going to be worth doing. I guess I can just run it down real quick. I don't think this would make a whole video anyway, but maybe I'll make a separate video too. But in order to make money with Uber, what you need to do is only take the big tippers. That's what I did. Obviously, you're going to have to be a better worker, because if you're going to take the high tippers, they tend to be a little tougher to deal with. They complain more, this and that. So you're going to have to, do a good job. Don't forget the drinks. Don't fucking be stopping to get gas in the middle of the delivery. Do it well. And if you just keep taking the big tippers and you keep getting high ratings, Uber's gonna keep throwing you the big tippers. That's how it seemed to me. But then there was other days where they wouldn't be throwing me nothing worth taking. I'd be sitting there all day, and I'd end up taking like 3 deliveries, because I don't give a fuck. I'm not taking shit deliveries. I'm not dealing with these people who tip fucking $2 on a 15-mile drive. Why the fuck would I? Let some other fucking idiot do that. You know what I mean? I'm doing the job well, so you better fucking pay me a lot to do it. You know what I mean? So that was my attitude with Uber. So literally, I would reject 7 out of 10 deliveries they sent to me. Literally, my accept rate was about 30%, but my driver rating is like 99%. I had like very few complaints, and the people who did complain kind of had a right to complain, because sometimes my temper gets the best of me, and I'm giving the people attitude and shit. So every once in a while, I'd have a little conflict with the people, and they'd give me like a bad rating. But I had so many good ratings that it didn't fucking matter. My percentage was like 99%. It was never lower than 98%. That was the lowest my rating was ever at on Uber. So there's the tips for Uber. Do the job well. Do it to the best of your ability. Only take the big tippers. And if you're running DoorDash and Uber and whatever, like if you're running multiple apps simultaneously, which is what a lot of people do, then yeah, you're gonna be, you really don't got to take the shit deliveries, because you got 2 apps shooting fucking, offers at you all day. So that's what you do, man. Run both of them simultaneously. I think there's a third one too, but I can't think of it now. There's Uber Eats, DoorDash, and I don't know. There's another one too, but yeah, run them all. Fuck them, and only take the good orders. and you'll make a lot of money. I knew people on the street in New York who were making over $1,000 a week doing that shit. So, you know, don't let the street turn you into one of these people who is kind of stuck out there. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's another reason a lot of people don't get the jobs. They're fucking addicted to drugs, and they need these drugs. They really do. They need a rehab. I was able to kick it cold turkey on the street, but I'm not trying to brag, but I ain't the average person. I got an iron will. You know what I'm saying? When I make a decision to do something, ain't nothing it is gonna fucking stop me. Nothing is gonna stop me, and that's how I am. If you kicking dope cold turkey on the street with people all around you who have dope, who are willing to give it to you for free, that ain't easy, bro. If you can do that, there ain't much you can't do. So I guess that's it for this video. We'll see if it makes any sense. This is like 3 parts of, I gotta stitch this shit all together, and yeah, we'll see. So thanks for the subs, the likes, comments. I appreciate you. Thanks for the tips, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. I appreciate you. Thanks for the Patreon support. I appreciate you, and I'm sorry I've been neglecting it, but I'm gonna get back on it ASAP. So I should only be stuck here for about another week. We'll see. So I'll try to get another video up the day after tomorrow. Oh, my birthday's coming up, February 25th. Maybe I'll end up putting a video up on that day. I don't even know what day it is today. All right, so I'll see y'all in the next one.
Yeah. You see, you go in there smelling like that, nobody's going to fucking hire you, give you a job. They find out you're homeless, living out of your vehicle. It depends. When my company found out that I got kicked out of my apartment, those people were friendly to me, so they backed me up. They couldn't put me up or anything, but they allowed me to charge the jackery at the company. You know? They didn't have to do that. They could have just said you're on your own, in which case I'd have to make other arrangements. But yeah, they allowed for it. It's as sad as that is, they allowed for it. So anyway, yeah, things aren't what we normally think they are, and it's just much worse than we thought it is. That's the reality of the situation. It sucks. It just fucking sucks. People don't really care about other people. And this homelessness thing in this country has been that way a very long time, guys. Nothing new in reality. You know? Anyway, we have time for one more video. I was just thinking about my experience living out of the fucking SUV. I'll tell you, it sucked ass. At first, for the first few days of that week, I was like, okay, struggling to get it set up, coming up with the system. Okay, I came up with the system within the couple of days, and it was working. But then the hot nights came, and it was the heat that burnt me alive, man. The fucking heat. Okay, here's another one.
I don't want to live 9 to 5.
Pros and cons of living in a vehicle, brutal honesty. Alright, this is a long one, so let's get started.
Alright, so this video will be about like the pros and cons of living in a vehicle. Like what's good about it, what's bad about it. Because sometimes I get comments of people saying they're about to sell everything and move into a car, and that's great. But you should know what you're getting yourself into. You know what I mean? You gotta first off, thanks for the subs, thanks for the likes, thanks for the comments. I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for the tips, links in the description. I appreciate every single one of you. I just realized the other day I can actually talk to people on Venmo. So yeah, somebody was talking. Anyways, so and thanks for the Patreon support. Appreciate every single one of you. But yeah, so you got to realize also that I was living on the street before I lived in a car, so of course I like it. You know what I mean? Of course it's easier for me, but I'll tell you this much: it would not have been anywhere near as easy for me if I was coming from an apartment. I went from an apartment straight onto the street, but I got to say my apartment was such a dump that it's not like the whole time I was living in that apartment I was like, I gotta get out of here, but yeah, you gotta realize that for me, living in a car is pretty easy considering what I was doing before this. This is luxury to me. This is simple. But the other thing is, you gotta know yourself too, because if you're really if you don't like camping and you don't like roughing it and stuff, living in a car is not going to be for you. You know what I mean? So I guess I'll just get down to the biggest issues for me personally is not having a bathroom. Now, for a girl, that's got to be real hard living in a car, because at least I can piss in a bottle, you know what I mean? But if I've got to take a shit, which, you got to do it every day, that's my biggest issue. I wish I had a bathroom in here where I could just do that in here, but I can't. Some people, and a lot of people don't talk about this because they don't want you to know about it, but a lot of people who live in their car will just kind of shit in a bag. I just can't. I hate doing that type of shit. I feel it's like I just hate it, bro.
I had the shit. I had the shit in the bag, dude.
I don't know. I don't.
I had the shit in the fucking bag, dude.
So that's my biggest issue. Is every morning I've got to find somewhere to use the bathroom. Which really annoys me, because I don't want to. I hate to spend $3 on a cup of coffee when I could just make it myself. But if I'm going to go use the bathroom somewhere, I feel like I should buy something. Now, that's up to you. You decide for yourself if you want to just go use the bathroom and not pay and not buy anything. Or there's gas stations that don't care. But here's the thing: in the morning, I want my coffee anyway. But so my system as of right now. I made that. I've got a video where I show where I made this portable toilet. I actually just threw that out because I never used it. I just use public bathrooms. You know what I mean? That's what I do. So my system right now is, it depends on where I'm sleeping. It depends on where I'm at. If I'm near a county park, my preference is to go to the county park in the morning, make my own coffee, and use the bathroom there. If I'm not near a county park, then I will go to Starbucks, get a cup of coffee, and use the bathroom there. And I've seen people in the comments like, oh, you drink Starbucks, you got a lot of money. I'm like, I mean, dude, you really, like, let me tell you something. Even at my most homeless, I was drinking Starbucks. If I couldn't make, I ain't gonna let that, like, I'm making money, bro. I don't care what's going on. I'm gonna find a way to make money. I'm gonna find a way to afford to buy my coffee. I'm not the type where I'm like, oh, I don't have money, I'm not gonna drink coffee today. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go make money and then get my coffee. I'm gonna make my money, bro. You know what I mean? So if a cup of coffee is like a cup of Starbucks coffee, which is not even that good, the only reason I go to Starbucks is because it was what I used in New York, because I could always get an outlet there to charge my phone. And at this point, even though I'm not the hugest fan of their coffee, it's way better than McDonald's. It's 10 times better than any of the sewage you're going to get at the gas station. I mean, I don't like shitty coffee. I like good coffee. And Starbucks is average. It's not bad, but it ain't good. Although I got to say their blonde coffee is pretty good. But, if $3 for a cup of decent coffee, I'm okay with that. I'd rather make my own good coffee for free. Not free, but it costs me pennies to make my own coffee, and I'm drinking the coffee I like. I get the Bustelo Supreme shit. Like, that's my favorite. Although I gotta say, there's this Italian butcher in Clearwater. They got some really good Italian coffee I want to try, which is really expensive. But I want to try it. I'm curious. I probably shouldn't, because once I do, that's going to be what I want. But anyway, so if you think a cup of coffee for $3 is a lot of money, my suggestion is start making more money.
Yeah.
There's a million ways to make money in this day and age. We are getting ripped off. We're getting screwed left and right, but there is a million ways to make money. I'm going to make a video about Uber to tell y'all. I did Uber for a year straight, and I learned a lot. And I tell you what, had I known what I was doing in the beginning, I would have made a lot more money. I was doing it very inefficiently at first, but I learned a few things. So maybe I'll do one last Uber trip and film it so y'all can watch me road rage all over Florida on a delivery. And then I'll explain to y'all what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. But so the first negative thing about living in a car is the bathroom situation. If you're a dude, at least you can piss in a bottle. That's the main thing. So, but you are gonna have to find somewhere to take a shit every day. Unless you don't shit every day, which you need to change your diet if that's the case. But then obviously the other issue is not being able to shower. So you're going to have to get used to going a couple of days without a shower, because there's not always a gym around, I pay $30 a month to Planet Fitness, which I got to say their gym is pretty lame. I mean, all I do is go in there and take a shower. I don't use anything in there. I wish they had a pool and a basketball court, though. Does anyone know of a good nationwide gym with a basketball court and a pool that I could... Because I do love to play basketball, even to this day. For whatever reason, that's just the sport that I enjoy playing the most. And I'm actually, I'm pretty good at basketball, believe it or not. But I do miss playing it. And I want to play some basketball again. But anyway, so... Yeah, the shower's the other situation. So if you're not comfortable going a couple of days between showers, then you're probably not going to want to live in your car, Me personally, I take a shower every couple of days. I don't wash my hair every time I take a shower. If I did, my hair would just be fried. I don't know. Does anyone wash their hair every day? I don't think... I feel like I'm destroying my hair when I wash it every day. But so... Yeah, the shower and the bathroom is the main issues. Now the other main issue that can drive you nuts is the climate. Now, in the summer in Florida, I don't think many people could sleep in their car. I do it because I'm half friggin' wolf, and I lived outside for a decade straight, and I'll lay there and just wake up in a puddle of sweat, and I'm like that, bro. You know what I mean? It don't.
That's what I was talking
really
about
don't
right
bug
there.
Me too much, but I'm also the type where I laid sod for years in the Florida sun, and I enjoyed that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to do that.
I've seen people saying like, "How can you work outside in this Florida heat?" I'm like, it don't even bother me, bro. I get a tan. I feel like I'm at the beach or something. It don't bug me. Hard physical labor in the heat. My body sweats. My body keeps itself cool. I don't know. Maybe I have some sort of magical power to not be bothered by the heat. I don't know what it is, but I tell you what, even though I've got a high tolerance for the heat, sometimes in the summer in Florida when I'm laying back there and I'm sweating bullets, I get a little frustrated and I get a little annoyed. One of my main issues right now is three of my windows stopped working. I need to get that straightened out before the summer gets here, because I can't be back there with all the windows up. I will cook like a piece of chicken, bro. So that's the other thing. The climate is an issue. So, depending on what state you're in, what climate you're in, the heat is going to be hard in the summer, and the cold is going to be hard in the winter, and that's how it's going to be. The winters in Florida are a pleasure. Sleeping outside down here in the winter, it's, I sleep like a baby every night. It's the weather's like perfect down here in the winter. It's like, it'll get down to the upper 30s maybe once a winter, but it don't bother me none. It's only for a couple of nights throughout the whole thing, and I got some hand warmers and I got a good sleeping setup. So you got to have the proper equipment too. You got to have the right stuff. Like, I guess at some point I need to do a video and just explain my sleep system, because it's all weather, basically. I mean, in a car. Like, if I was just out trekking in the woods like the Revenant, I would probably need a better, like, 0-degree sleeping bag. My cold sleeping bag is rated for 30, but in the climates I'm in, I don't need nothing colder than that. But then on top of that, I've got my poncho liner and my Swagman roll, which is basically... They're both basically poncho liners, which the Swagman roll is like it's a sleeping bag rated for 50. It's a thin, lightweight, awesome thing. I'll link it in the description. I'll also link the poncho liner. Those are two things that I don't care what climate you're in, they're worth having. The Swagman roll is waterproof, so you can lay right in the rain in that thing and you ain't gonna get wet. So yeah, you got to have the right stuff, you know what I mean? And then to battle with the heat, what you need to do is you got to create some sort of cross ventilation. So it helps to have a sunroof. It helps to have windows that work. If you can get air circulating in any direction, get a couple of fans. I've got one fan. I'm going to get another one before the summer. And I'm thinking maybe I'll set my fans up. I'll leave the sunroof open. I'll set one up here pushing in and one over there pushing out, so the air will just be circulating through the whole thing. That's what I'm thinking. I haven't tried it yet. But what I usually do is, with my one fan, is I'll leave the windows down a little bit and I'll have the fan pointing out one of the windows. This way the air will come in one of the other windows. You know what I mean? So I just try to create cross ventilation so there's a slight breeze coming through there. If it's hot, I'll just have the fan blasting straight on my face. You know what I mean? But,
and like the vault is free. I gain more value out of the vault than like this freaking 4800.
So yeah, the climate is a major issue when you're sleeping in your car. And another thing that gets annoying is the rain in Florida, because in the summer in Florida, it pretty much rains every day. It doesn't rain all day, but it rains pretty much every day for at least a couple of minutes, you know what I mean? Which is actually kind of a blessing in the summer, because if it didn't rain a little bit every day, the heat would just be more intense, you know, because it usually cools off a little after the rain. So in a climate like Florida, this is the jungle down here, straight up. It's like a, you know, the wet season. It's got a wet season and a dry season. It's not even like winter, spring, summer, and fall. I mean, we call it that, but realistically in Florida, you got a wet season and a dry season. The summer is the wet season, the winter is the dry season, you know? But all in all, I like the Florida climate, you know what I mean? But I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be down here. So, trying to think of what are some other major issues that I face with this. And it also depends on what you like to do with your time. So if you're the type who likes to kind of sit in the house and chill, living in the car might not be for you. But see, I built this thing into basically a little apartment. I can go back there and get on my computer and get shit done. Or you can go into a coffee shop or a Starbucks or a Dunkin', anywhere. Libraries. You know, you don't have to just sit in your car all day, you know what I mean? But that's the thing. It's like, what's more important to you, freedom or security? You know what I mean? So I've tried to, you know, one of the reasons I live the way I live is because I wanted to try to conquer my own need for safety and security. You know, I have this instinct in me where I just feel like I need to have, like, I need to be ahead on everything. I need to have, like, food stockpiled. I need to have weapons and ammo stockpiled. I've always been that way. I don't know if in a past life I was under siege in a fort somewhere or something. I don't know. But my whole life I've always felt that I need a bunch of supplies and I need a safe place to hold them. I don't know what it is, but even to this day I have it. I've got a stockpile of canned and dry food in my truck, and, you know, I stay ready, bro. But that need for that security also is like an anchor. It was holding me down in life. It was forcing me to cling to these jobs that I couldn't stand, you know what I mean? Where I just, deep down, I felt like I was wasting my life. So that's one of the reasons I do what I do. I've always wanted to have a vehicle filled with everything I need to where I can just travel around the country and explore and enjoy myself. So I'm in a way, I'm trying to have the best of both worlds. I want the freedom and I want the security, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to think. There's got to be other things that really drive me nuts about living in a car, because I don't want to paint this picture to where it's like this, everything's great, it's just van life and we're chilling at the beach every morning, and it ain't like that, bro. It's more like
hot and sticky. And
you know, it ain't like that, bro. It ain't what they show you on YouTube. If they showed you what it was really like, for most of them, I have a feeling you'd be like, fuck that shit, you know? Because there's, you know, like I said, the climate is an issue, the bathroom is an issue. There's, you know, there's some issues, you know what I mean? And I do miss having a house sometimes, but I also don't want to be, you know, I don't want to be clinging to a job and hiding in an apartment all day, you know what I mean? I don't want to live that way. But some people are so used to that, you know, it would be very, very difficult for them to transition into this, because you're roughing it. A lot of the time you're roughing it. The next truck I buy and build, I'm gonna bring y'all through every step of the way. So, because I believe I've got about the best setup for living in a car. I mean, my shit is an apartment basically. Like, I'm so comfortable back there at night. If I ain't got nothing else going on, I'm totally stealth too, so I can sleep in any parking lot anywhere.
Stealth.
I can do residential too, but I don't want to, because I have a look about me where a lot of times people, I don't know how to explain it, but a lot of people, they think I'm up to no good, which it's not the case, you know what I mean? But I've got a scar on my face. I look like, I don't know, and I'm just judging off the reactions I get from dudes I don't know, but a lot of times they kind of watch me, you know what I mean, to make sure that I'm not going to, like, attack them or something, which is the furthest thing from my mind, you know? But, so I stay out of the residential shit. I'm not trying to get into fights with people over, and I'm also the type where if someone comes up questioning me and acting, trying to, you know, if they get an emotional response out of me, which a lot of times they would, then I'd rather avoid the whole thing, you know, than to have somebody coming up and getting me into a negative state of mind and all that shit. I'm good in the parking lots where every once in a while the cops will come wake me up, and that's fine. It doesn't even happen often, but when they do, you know, I don't feel like I'm doing nothing wrong, so I ain't scared, bro. Like, so if they wake me up, I just tell them, yeah, I live in my car. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. We don't give a shit, you know. It all depends on how you handle it. It all depends on your state of mind. If you're all scared, like, you know, but I ain't like that. I'm like, yeah, I live in my car. That's the way it is. What, you know, are you going to rent me an apartment right now? No? Then what do you want me to do? You want me to go sleep in another parking lot? That's whatever, you know. So, you know, so I guess I'll get to the good parts of it now. So the good parts are basically you don't got to pay rent, which is the main thing that keeps people locked into these lives that they don't want to live. So everything is a give and a take, you know. So I realize at a young age, with this constant pressure of rent, is keeping me held down in life. It's preventing me from living the life I want to live. It's stifling my creativity because all my efforts and energy are going towards just paying rent, you know?
Yeah, oh shit.
And then on the weekends,
half my fucking money goes... No. I make $2,000 a month, guys, which is nothing from these people. And $1,200 goes to rent by myself, plus the bills. So I live off of, after all the bills, maybe less than $500 a month. And that's why I've been steadily going down. And $500 was fine before inflation. Now that we have inflation, it's bologna and cheese sandwiches, cheapest bread products I can find. You know, I can't afford the good food like, you know, fruits, vegetables. I got a cockroach infestation, you know. So that's why, like, I spent enough money. I spent $250. I spent half of that already. And I'm hoping that'll go 3 weeks before I have to go shopping again. And if I go shopping again, I hope it doesn't go more than $100. And that way I stay below my $500 budget. You see? Yeah. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. And there's other problems. I've had physical illnesses and things like that. I want to go to the emergency room, but I can't afford the x-rays. I can't afford the copay. I don't have any money for it. So I'm working with health insurance that's very low level, and I can't afford to actually use it because of the copays. Yeah, I mean, I already owe the doctors like $50, which I couldn't pay. I'm going to have an appointment in a month. I'm hoping to save up that money for that because I owe money. It's just horrible. Anyway. Gentleman's over here. Let me finish him up here.
I get to cut loose and go get drunk and act like an idiot, you know? And so I was like, this ain't living, bro.
Yeah.
I realized a long time ago this ain't living.
It's surviving, brother.
So
Surviving, that's
it
it.
occurred to me that if I can figure out a way to get rid of this friggin' rent bill, I can start doing some interesting things with my life. Because what I really want, and I have it now, thank God, I'm grateful to God, I've got, anywhere I go in this country, I've got a free hotel room, and I can travel around. I you know what I mean? I like to hang out in Las Vegas. I like to gamble a little bit, not much, but a little. It's just, I like to have fun, you know what I mean? I love New York City. I like to hang out in New York City. I love Florida. These are three of my favorite places on earth. But the other thing is, I get tired of being there, you know? So I'm heading out west in the not too distant future. One of my best friends lives in Colorado. I'm gonna go hang out with him. And then I'm probably going to hit Las Vegas, and then I'm probably going to hit California, because I ain't never even been there. And the thing is, I don't need to be making a lot of money to travel around like that, because my hotel room is coming with me. You know what I mean? And to be totally honest, I would rather sleep in my truck than most other places. I've got a lot of friends in Florida who are always like, bro, anytime you want, you come sleep at my house, this and that. And the truth is, I prefer to sleep in my own truck. I don't know what it is, but I'm more comfortable sleeping in my own place, you know? So, but yeah, people are always, I've got a lot of friends in Florida who are always like, bro, come by, stay as long as you want, it ain't shit, this and that. And I'm like, I appreciate you, and I'm not, it's not that I don't like coming to your house, but I prefer to sleep in my own bed, even though my own bed is in the back of my motherfucking car. You know? Like, so, another major downside to it is girls. Like, if you want some sort of long-term relationship or something, I don't know if you're going to be able to live in a car with a girl. I don't think I would ever even attempt that, to be totally honest. I'm the type where I like to be alone sometimes, and the other thing is, in the summer in Florida, if I got a girl wrapped around me back, it ain't happening, bro. We would die of heat exhaustion, it'd be too hot. So that's the other thing. If you got like a long distance, if you're in a long-term relationship, or you're looking to get into something like that, then living in a car might not be for you, or you're going to have to seriously figure out a way to control that climate, which is something I'm constantly working on. And once I figure it out, y'all will be the first to know, people have suggested to get those, it's some sort of fan with ice in it, and I'm thinking that, that's great and all, but do you really want to be blasting the inside of your vehicle with humidity all night long? I don't think that's a good idea. For the most part, I'm trying to avoid humidity in my truck altogether. Whenever I get one of those little dehumidifier packets in any type of food, I don't throw it out. I throw it in the back of my truck somewhere. I don't want moisture in my truck. I don't want mold growing nowhere, nothing like that. So I'm trying to keep it as dry as possible in here. So blasting some fan with ice cubes all in it and just blasting moist air, that seems very counterproductive to me. But there's the other thing you're going to need is a power supply. You're definitely going to need that. I'll link the one I got. Now, see, I bought mine when it was a GoFundMe. There's this YouTube channel called Hobo Tech where he does reviews on power supplies and solar panels and shit, and I really trust his information and I'm glad I listened to him, because he was the one where I found out about my power supply and my solar panel. So the power supply I got is straight made in China. It's called the Montech X1000. I think I paid $800 for 1,000 watt solar generator with an 80 watt solar panel, which I never used the 80 watt solar panel. It's just not strong enough to charge this thing. It takes too long. So my suggestion is, if you buy the Montech, don't even bother with the portable solar panels, because they're really not worth having. they're just not big enough to charge this thing up. What you should do, what I did, was I bought a 180 watt Bouge RV solar panel, which is on my roof. I'm sitting directly in the sun right now, just charging up. And so that gives me plenty of power most of the time. I'm also running a refrigerator off it. It's called a Joy Tutus. It's another thing made in China. Here's the thing. I used to buy American-made products, but nowadays it's all made in China anyway. So this refrigerator, I've had it for over a year. I paid $200-something for it. I could not be happier with the thing. It works like a charm. It doesn't eat too much power. It's running 24/7. Keeps my drinks cold. Keeps my leftover food fresh. It's the Joy Tutus little refrigerator I got. I could not be happier. And from what I've heard, the compressor in this thing, it is the same compressor that they put in the expensive refrigerators. That's what I heard. I'm not sure if it's true. But I've got to say, I kind of believe it, because this thing has been running like a champion since the day I got it. I mean, it's been running nonstop ever since. The only time it's ever an issue is in the summer in Florida, when it's 100 degrees every friggin' day. You got a refrigerator that's trying to stay at 40 degrees. Sometimes that thing will run for hours and hours and hours, and sometimes it'll drain my power supply in the summer. So that's, idealistically, in my next build, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 2 power supplies, at least 1,000 watts each, maybe more, and I'm going to try to run a refrigerator and an AC. I'm going to try to pull that off. We'll see. I've learned a lot out of living out of this vehicle, and my next build is going to be, it's going to be something else, bro. Wait till y'all see it. It's going to be badass. But ideally, I would like to be able to run a fridge and an AC. So, also, I would need more solar panels on the roof, but I went pretty cheap with the solar panel. Bouge RV, they're great solar panels for the price, but you can get better because you can get smaller ones that are more powerful, but they're expensive. So, the main upside to living in a vehicle is you've basically got your rent-free hotel, no hotel fees, no rent. You can travel anywhere in the country anytime you want. It's real freedom, 100% real freedom. And so you can spend your money on enjoying life, That's the main thing. Now, like I said, there's going to be some sacrifices, there's going to be some drawbacks, and hopefully I explained them pretty well in this video. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones. As far as meeting girls or whatever, everyone's different, everyone does things differently, but you can still meet girls, I'll tell you that much. Even when I was homeless on the street, I was meeting girls. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. There's no logic to it. Every once in a while, I'll just run into a girl and we click. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not even something that I really pursue, although mostly I wasn't pursuing it because I didn't have the time and the money. If I had the time and the money, I'd be chasing girls all over town, So, I mean, that's another issue with it. So, if you're, it's going to be hard to, come back to my truck, you know what I mean? Although you can certainly pull it off. I guarantee you that. But, so, for me, for the most part, the good outweighs the bad, and I can tell you this much: even if I had $10 million, I would probably still be living in a vehicle right now, because this is how I want to live right now. I want to travel around the country, and I want to explore and I want to have fun. And when I get tired of that, I'll build a house somewhere or I'll rent an apartment somewhere. I don't know. But right now, the money's not even the thing that's keeping me in the vehicle. The fact that I just want to just kind of enjoy life right now and travel around and see cool things, you know. My setup back there is badass. I guess maybe I'll do a live one night and show y'all how I hang out in the back of my truck, because if I ain't doing nothing, I go park somewhere, I stealth it out, I get everything to where I'm heading. Shit, this video's getting long. And then I get in the back of my truck and I smoke some weed, if I got weed, and then I will play some video games on my laptop. I'm just chilling back there, you know. I actually got a PlayStation 2 emulator on my laptop, so I'm playing all the old school PlayStation games right now, and it's pretty fun, I gotta be honest. But if it's at a time where I'm not smoking, and which every couple of months I'll quit smoking weed, then when I get back there, I'll just watch a movie on my laptop, and I've got pretty much every good movie ever made on a hard drive. And then on another hard drive, I've got pretty much every good TV show ever made. So I'm doing the same things in the back of my truck that most people are doing in their apartment when they're just chilling at night, you know. I'm watching TV shows and another thing I do back there is I work out. I do crunches, I started doing a new stomach exercise, which is great. The bicycle thing where you touch your elbows to your knees. That's been great. That's a good little workout. I do little pull-ups on my handle back there. You know, so if I'm just chilling watching a movie, I'm working out the whole time too. Except in the summer, I can't do that back here because I'd be soaked and I'd be sweating even worse than I do, you know. But so, you know, it's give and take. There's going to be some uncomfortable situations, and I tell you what, worst come to worst, you can go rent a hotel room, which I never do, but I could. But, like I said, so far for me, the good outweighs the bad. Eventually, I will get tired of it. Probably, maybe not. I don't know. Ideally, what I want is a big, huge piece of land somewhere in the middle of nowhere where I can build a house, where I can just keep some supplies and travel around in a vehicle, and whenever I get tired of it, go stay on my land, but then when I get tired of that, go back out in the vehicle, you know what I mean? So, for me, for the most part, the good outweighs the bad. I can tell you this much: if you're coming straight for an apartment or a house and going to live in a vehicle, there's going to be times where you're going to doubt your decision, but you know, nothing is easy, you know what I mean? And if you're really thinking about doing that, something in your life is, you know, whatever you're doing ain't easy either. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be thinking about living in a vehicle, you know? So, I guess I gotta watch this video back and make sure it makes sense. I feel like I left out a lot of information, man. I'm trying to think, like, because I definitely, what I don't want is for someone to sell everything and go get in a vehicle and be like, oh my god, this sucks, why'd I listen, Joey's an asshole, what, you know? Don't do that, bro. Don't blame me if you hate it. You know what I mean? Here's what I suggest you do. Go sleep in your car somewhere, not just go out in your own town and figure it out. Go sleep in your vehicle somewhere. Bring your laptop or whatever and try to treat it like you would just a normal evening chilling in your apartment. Give it a shot, and that's the only way you're going to learn. You don't learn, you know, you can learn from reading, but the best way to learn, and you can learn from watching videos and people explaining, but the nothing teaches like experience, you know what I mean? Nothing. There's nothing. Experience is the best teacher. So if you're thinking about doing it, go sleep in your vehicle somewhere and see what you think. And don't just get out there and then pussy out. Force yourself to do it. Like, see what you think. And, you know, that's the only way. That's the only way you're really going to find out what it's about. So, That's my suggestion. Even if the vehicle you have is not the one you plan on living in, give it a shot anyway, and just go see how you like it. See what it's like. See what it's like to go find a place to sleep. For the most part, I try to find big parking lots with lots of shops and bars and stuff around. I try to I prefer for there to be a bar not too far away, because a lot of times people go to a bar, they get hammered, and they end up not driving home. Their car stays in the area overnight. So, and for the most part, the cops leave you alone. And even if they don't sweat them. Don't get into a fight with them. Just explain to them I live in my vehicle, and that's what I do, and there ain't nothing wrong with it. So, I guess that's about it. We'll see what the next video is going to be. Maybe I'll make a controversial, opinionated one. We'll see. I don't know. But, once again, I appreciate every single one of you. And, I will see y'all later in the week. At some point within the near future, I'll do a live from Clearwater Beach, and I'll show y'all the sunset out there. Maybe show y'all some street performers and shit, whatever's going on out there that night. Shit's popping out there right now. It's spring break, so gorgeous butterfly floating by. So I'll see y'all later in the week. Maybe Friday I'll do the live. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to make any promises. What's today? Wednesday? So yeah, I don't know. I'll see y'all later in the week. Everybody have a good one. Later.
Well, having some issues here with this thing. Yeah, he went over some of the basics, guys. I mean, if you ever do decide to do that, that's a good idea he came up with right there. Go out into your vehicle, take whatever you think you need, and go park somewhere incognito, and see if the circumstances suit you. Do it when it's freezing out. Do it when it's hot out. Do it in the day. Do it at night. Can I last out here 24/7 in different climates? And I guarantee you, like he said, those hot summer nights, he got used to the hot summer nights. He doesn't think anything of it anymore. But some of us got used to air conditioning and other creature comforts. I'm drastically overweight. If I go and I get exposed to too much heat, I'm going to fry. So that's what I'm saying. When it comes to a vehicle, I can't just be in a vehicle in the middle of the daylight in the sun. Over here in Texas, it can get up to 108 and sometimes 102 to 108. 108 down south in Laredo, maybe. I think, or 106. Here it's about 102 at the most. But Jesus, I mean, even at 90, you're frying. You're frying in your car. You're being microwaved, So the tactic would be to find out what the library hours are in your area. Find a mall where you can sit down in a mall in a food court and maybe, look at your phone, do shit on your phone. Take one of those little portable chargers with you so you can charge your phone as you need to. You can get unlimited text and data in this day and age on your phone. Unlimited text and data. There's no reason not to take your phone, go out and have some fun, play a dumb game, trade your stocks if you're into stock trading, whatever. But that's a good idea. Go out and try it out, and you'll see it really, really sucks ass. It really does. You don't want to believe it does, but it does. Now, what I've been doing, if you're wondering what I've been doing, is I've been making parts to put on my bird to create a trap so I can trap Megatherium. Because the only saddle I have that's worth a shit, more or less, is a Megatherium saddle. It's not I don't think it's a 200-point saddle, but it'll give you 100 points, and that's a lot better than the basic primitive 25 points. And I figure between those saddles and some good high-level Megatherium, I should be able to kill the what's her name? The brood mother. But the problem is I don't even remember where the fuck the artifacts are. Some of them could be underwater. Some of them could be so hard to get it's not worth it. So I actually have to go back, figure out where all the artifacts are, and see if I can start mining element. You have to defeat those creatures. It might be better off doing Rexes with the monkey, you know, because they might be easier to get Rexes than to get Megatherium. It just depends. Megatheriums are supposed to have an advantage, but the last time I played on this server, because of the status of everything, it glitched out. So I wasn't very enthused, shall I say, about this. I wasn't enthused because I thought that the Megatherium... Well, what happened is we fought the Brood Mother, right? And they had all these Megatheriums with excellent saddles, and they weren't hitting the target. The Brood Mother was literally glitched and not taking any damage whatsoever. And the Megatherium have bonuses against insects. It just wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't do shit. So anyway, what I'm going to do is, now it's pretty late. It's already been an hour and a half. I think I'm almost done here. Let me see. Anything else I can do? I hope that these things don't weigh too much on my bird, because as you can see, the parts weigh less than the actual raw materials. You know, I'm just making sure I got as many as I can. I don't want to have to make them in the field. I want to just create what I need, and that will be the end of it. Okay, and that should be the last thing. There we go. So 78 walls, 29 slopes, and 52 foundations should be enough to go ahead and create traps and shit like that. So let me take all this stuff and put it away. All these raw materials. Alright. Put this egg away. I keep checking to see what eggs this guy collects, and he hasn't collected shit. Oh, that they're not okay. Oh, that's a male. Male's always ready to mate. How about this female? Because I'm trying to get more of these eggs. Oh, in an hour and 48 minutes. Well, shit. Hopefully I'll get another egg by tomorrow. I only got 2 damn eggs. I need more than that. I'm trying to consolidate that pterodon thing. But anyway, whatever. I'll need a good, strong pterodon if I go out and try to get a wyvern egg and bring it back. It's going to be a pain. Alright. Well, let's put this away. Alright, guys. So, but he makes good, valid points. You do need a power supply. You need, if it's cold, you need something that, like a sleeping bag or something. Thick, heavy blankets. You know, it's a bitch out there to survive out there in the streets. It's a real bitch. I see it all the time. Some of those people, they look like they're just walking and pissing. You know, they don't give a fuck anymore. Some of them, they're just talking to themselves because nobody else cares about them. So there's a lot of damaged people. I'm damaged too. I am, but I'm not in that position. I always manage to work and stay out of that position. You know. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put my character away. And I'm going to call it for tonight because I got to go outside and feed the animals. Let's see. No, I don't want to put that there. I'll put it in here. I'm glad I put all that shit away. And put that there. Put all your material stuff in a box. Everything you're wearing in a box. Because you could die very easily. And that's it. Have a good night. Thank you for watching. And I hope you guys learned something. Like I said, that gentleman's name is, I think I subscribed. Yeah. It's Joey the Gypsy. Going from place to place. He wants to go tour because he doesn't have any pets or anything. He's all by himself. He's got enough money to do it. So he's going to Las Vegas. He's not too old yet to where he can't go. He's not disabled. So that's what he's doing, you know. He's probably squirreling a lot of money away here and there and can afford to go to Vegas and blow some on there. You know, that's probably what's going on with the guy. But anyway, thanks for watching. Remember, Joey the Gypsy, he's pretty good. He's got 47K subscribers, so that means he's making money off this YouTube shit. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.